welcome to JCI Kolkata's very first business show, Top 40 Under 40. What we are going to be doing is bringing you some dynamic entrepreneurs and leaders of our JCI Kolkata and who are very young at heart as well, and present to you their successes, their struggles, their story over the next couple of weeks and months. Well, to start off, who better can be our very first guest than the dynamic leader and the president of JCI Kolkata this year? He is second generation into this business of insurance with over 2,000 clients across India. He's a $1 million roundtable member. Wow. Currently the country chair India for MCC, MDRT, and so many more accolades in his pocket. Presenting to you, Mr. Jagannath Das.
Thank you, Shruti, so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so hi, Mr. Jagannath Das. So I would like to ask you about your business journey. So how did you start your business journey?
Well, so it all started in 2012 when I decided to join my father. Before 2012, I worked in corporate. I was working in a MNC in Pune for around 5 years. Quite successful. Last position I held was vice president. So I was very happy, delighted. But one fine moment, I decided to come out of the corporate, going after just having sleepless night, going after target, pressure, having endless coffees, being in the cubicle, just knowing about that particular office. I thought of why not? Let's go out. So one fine day, I called my dad. Papa, I want to come back. I want to join the business. He said, please, you are welcome. It's yours. So I remember the year 2012 when I called him. He was so happy and delighted that I was back. And that moment I decided, yes, I need to do business. And of course, business ka kira to pehle se hi tha. Before I started my job, I always wanted to be a businessman. But then after doing my MBA, I decided to pursue a career in corporate. But just I went ahead in corporate, I was quite comfortable in their life. So in the corporate life, morning to evening, having 200 people reporting into me directly or indirectly together. So I started as a management trainee, got promoted every year. So when I was a AVP and vice president, I left it. I said, no more. It's too much. If I don't do it now, I can't do it ever. So that's the moment I came back and joined my business in Calcutta.
Great. If you could tell us something about the struggles that you have faced after joining the business and how did you deal with it? What kept you going?
Yeah, thank you. Of course, struggles when I initially joined were a lot. I never thought it will be a lot of struggle because I had good experience working in the corporate, and I thought it will be easy when I come back and start interacting with people, asking them for business because I had little 5 years experience in the corporate. But the ground reality was different, and it hit me hard when I came back. It was very challenging. The first challenge was, of course, change of work culture. I was working in Mumbai and Pune. And when I was working there, the people, the staff, the energy was very different what we find in Calcutta. The way your employee gets motivated was very different. Where the way you speak to your client, the way the client sees your product is very different. So I'll give you an example. जब पुणे में हम लोग कुछ business करते थे, the decision time of a client was maybe 2 to 3 days. In Calcutta, it was drastic. For a retail customer, it was from maybe 6 months to 5 years. What I learned in the business. So it's not that you're speaking to a client and it gets closed easily. Client के पास जाते हैं, presentation देते हैं, बोलता है insurance नहीं कर रहा है. So in the culture was very different from West. Suddenly it was a shock for me also. अरे how do I adapt? So initially it was challenging. कभी-कभी तो ये भी लगा पहला साल में चलो वापस ही चले जाते हैं. Let us again go back and join the job, get a good life. So can you imagine if I am going to Pune to Mumbai, I used to get airfare from the corporate. So suddenly that journey was initially 3 years was struggle when I started meeting people. So the change, I'll tell you why I started loving this business. I'm coming to that. So initially 3 years तक थोड़ा challenge था. तो third year में मेरे साथ 3.5 years हुए थे. तो मेरे साथ एक incident हुआ. There was some interesting thing happened. जो मैं first year पे आया था, then I started contacting my contacts, लोग से मिला, I was contacting my friend. तो मेरे को याद है एक फ्रेंड को मैंने फोन किया, भाई व्हाई डोंट वी डिस्कस अबाउट इंश्योरेंस, एक अपने कुछ अच्छा प्रपोजल है लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का पॉलिसी है, व्हाई डोंट वी डिस्कस, इसे एक काम कर, मेरे भाई से बात कर ले, ही इज लीडिंग अ गुड बिजनेस और उसका अराउंड 200 कॉल सेंटर्स अक्रॉस इंडिया है, तो ही इज फ्रॉम कैलकाटा। मैं बोला ठीक है, व्हेनेवर ही इज इन कैलकाटा लेट मी नो। तो उसने मुझे उसके आई वेंट एंड मेट हिम। तो जब मैं उससे मिला तो मैं बोला भैया पॉलिसी करना है, बोला यार सब पॉलिसी कर लिए आ जाता है, ठीक है, पर तुम्हारा भाई मतलब माय ब्रदर टोल्ड मी ओके ठीक है तुम आ गया तो हम तुमसे कर लेगा। तो बोले सर समझ लीजिए हाउ मच कवरेज यू रिक्वायर, लेट अस एनालाइज। बोला नहीं मेरे को टाइम नहीं है, मेरा 5 लाख का पॉलिसी कर दो। मतलब 5 लाख सम अश्योर्ड। आई सेड सर यू नीड मोर। ही सेड अच्छा मोर मतलब कितना? बोले सर लेट अस डिस्कस, यू हैव 200 कॉल सेंटर्स, आपके इतना फैमिली है, यू हैव गॉट 2 किड्स, इज इट कवर एक्यूरेट? बोले काम कर तुम 15 लाख का पॉलिसी कर और हमको वो भी कुछ नहीं करना। आई सेड ठीक है। आई सेड ओके let us start the relationship, मतलब कर दिया। and that time recently he was married, मतलब almost 3 months हुए थे वो married हुआ था, तो मैं बोला चलो ठीक है। तो वही बता रहा हूँ, इनिशियल फर्स्ट ईयर में 2012 में मैंने 13 में ये पॉलिसी की थी। 2016 this was a turning point of my business also. This elder brother passed away in the road accident in Hyderabad, मतलब वो रोड से है बैंगलोर से हैदराबाद जा रहा था, सडन एक्सीडेंट, he died. I got a message next day. मैं मतलब मैं भी शॉक था, मैं उनसे मिला, आई वॉज रियली शॉक किया, मेरा क्लाइंट था। तो आई रिमेम्बर मैंने प्रोसेस किया, क्लेम वगैरह हुआ, 15 लाख प्लस बोनस, 25 लाख रुपए अराउंड अमाउंट वाज द पेमेंट, एंड इट हैपेंड ओवर द 3 मंथ्स, डॉक्यूमेंट करके 3 महीने में प्रोसेस हुआ। तो आई वेंट एंड मेट दिस, उनकी जो वाइफ थी, विडो थी, आई वेंट एंड मेट हर। तो यू नो व्हाट शी टोल्ड मी, शी टोल्ड मी जगन्नाथ यू फेल्ड एज अ एडवाइजर। वो बोले कि आज मेरे 1 महीने की सैलरी से 25 लाख रुपए जो तुम मेरे को लाके दी हो, यू कुडंट कवर हिम एडिक्वेटली। फ्रॉम दैट डे माय पर्सपेक्टिव टुवर्ड लाइफ इंश्योरेंस हैज चेंज। आई फील इट्स माय रिस्पांसिबिलिटी टू कन्विंस पीपल दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कवरेज दे रिक्वायर। उसके बाद प्रोडक्ट बाद में आता है, आप एंडोमेंट लो, टर्म लो, आप होल लाइफ लो, दैट इज सेपरेट, but the first thing is my responsibility to make people convinced about the product. And from that day my love towards my business has changed. I don't see a rejection as a rejection now. Suppose I went to Pawan, I asked him for business, he said I don't need. So I still feel it's my role to make him understand that you need life insurance. Because there's no particular person who doesn't require life insurance. Maybe someone will require 10 crores, someone will require 1,000 crores. So every person has a worth, and the person, it's my duty to make people realize what is their worth. Yeah. So that's one turning point and how I face the.
Wow, a man with a social cause. It was great to hear this story. What has been your success mantra over these years?
Okay. So what I realize in this business is very important to be persistent in the activity. तो कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, हम लोग भी we hear a lot of no's. If I call 5 people, maybe 4 will say no, I don't need to meet you, or maybe the business, insurance is not required. So it's very important, and that the follow-ups, the phone calls, the activities are regular. So when this is the mainly the success mantra, and another important thing is patience. So you have to be patient with the client. You have to understand him. You have to be in his shoes. You have to be in his shoes and try to understand from his point of view what is required. So that's maybe the success is there, that my activities are regular. I regularly make 10 phone calls daily, and I try to meet two people, at least 2 to 3 people regularly every day.
So where do you see your insurance business in next 5 years?
uh, like if you read newspapers, it is very pertinent that the insurance industry is going to boom, and more so you will see more qualified advisor. आप देखते थे झोला छाप एडवाइजर, जो कि गया, पेपर दिखाया, फॉर्म दिखाया, भर दिया। तो जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे ना, अगर एडवाइजर एजुकेटेड नहीं है, and if he is not qualified, they will not be able to sustain the market. Even if you see now, there's lot of churning in the market, and people who are part timers or who are not regular into the business, they don't survive. They can't survive beyond a point. So to survive a point, you need to have a strong academically strong knowledge about insurance. Secondly, you need to be persistent in your activities, and you have to have the patience. So academically, if you ask me, I am MBA in insurance. I have done my MCom in insurance. I'm a fellow of Insurance Institute of India, Mumbai, and I also did my diploma in insurance from London. So academically is very important, but of course, it is not only academically. So you have to have your activities regularly, meet people regularly, and then make people realize that what you know, most of the advisors don't know. So that is my USP. So how I see maybe a proposal or maybe a customer, or how I tell him about the life insurance needs or any other product insurance need is quite different from other advisor, because of my understanding of a subject. That is my USP.
So, Jagannath, what would your advice be to young professionals who are wanting to make a mark for themselves in this industry?
Yes. So it is very important that whenever we meet client, we should uh, understand what the client is feeling, and we should always be very empathetic towards the client. So I'll just explain you with an example which I had recently. So 6 months back, one of my client having health insurance went for a cashless in Bridge Candy, Mumbai, and his cashless got rejected. Of course, he was very disappointed, and his son called me, and he told me many words which are curse words, and he told me many things. So it was very important for me to understand where he's coming from. It was very easy for me to tell him, okay, get lost. It is because of something reason, but it is very important just to be quiet for some time, try to understand that every person has a problem. Even if I understood, if I was maybe in his shoes, आज 10-15 लाख का क्लेम है, रिजेक्ट हो गया, ऑब्वियसली उसको खराब लगेगा. The client is bound to say something, and so I tell you, I was very quiet. I told him, okay, sir, whatever has happened. If please come back after the surgery. Let us see how we can help. So, 3 days back, after 3 months of processing, making documents, filing the claim, we got the entire claim. So today, 3 days back, not only he called me up, he said, Jagan, what you did in the entire journey of being with me, the only thing client needs is that you are with him and be empathetic towards him. उसके साथ लगे रहे, be with him, some महसूस कीजिए वो क्या महसूस करता है, not that what you want him to do. Of course, what you are feeling is different, but try to understand client क्यों बोल रहा है ऐसे. तो आज 4 महीने बाद client मेरे को फोन किया, बोला तुम मेरे बेटे की 10 करोड़ का पॉलिसी लेके जाओ, बिकॉज तुम जो किया इट्स बियॉन्ड वर्ड्स. यू केप्ट क्वाइट, यू आर पेशेंटली लिसनिंग टू मी. डेली 3-4 फोन आता था. 3 महीने में मैंने उससे 90 से ज्यादा बार बात की होगी, just by listening to. I never told him anything, never told him anything. वो जो भी बोला मैं सुना, और I just made sure that he gets a claim. So this is what you need. You need to be patient and be with the client, wear his shoes, and try to feel what he is feeling. So that's the success mantra for any entrepreneur, any advisor, or anyone who comes for business or do in the life. Thank you.
So patience and empathy is the success mantra of Jagannath Das. All right, guys, wasn't that very inspiring to hear about Jagannath's story, who thinks his business is not just business, but actually his responsibility. Thank you so much, sir. Next week, we'll be back with one more struggle, one more success story, and one more entrepreneur in JCI Kolkata's very own Top 40 Under 40. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week.